Hey everyone. Hey, can we hear me? Yes. Hello. Hello, 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 hello. Hello. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I hope you can hear me. Yes. Oh, you know what? I need to turn off my fan. Jeez. Okay. Classic, classic. 1 second. 1 second. There we go. That should help a little bit. Okay. Let me see. Let's see who we got. Who do we got? All right. We got we got let's see here. Okay, Alyssa. Yay, Alyssa's here. Alyssa newly slaving away for the at her new job. I'm glad to see you here, Alyssa. Um, okay, Alan W. Hey, Alan W. Of course, of course, of course. We need Alan W. A fixture here on the stream. Real life cat DJ, fantastic. You got your internet fixed, real life cat DJ. I'm very happy. Another classic here. Glad to see you here. Who else? Who else? Demosthenes. Hello, Demosthenes. Hero here. Meowzord. Hey, Meowzord. Meowzord. By the way, I posted a new video on YouTube using the thumbnail you sent me. So thank you very much for that. Okay, thank you very much for that. You shall be compensated whether you want it or not. Okay. So thank you. Welcome back, Meowzord. You're only slaving on Friday and Saturdays? Oh, that's good, Alyssa. Okay. So, folks, we don't have many folks in stream right now. That's fine. But if you guys don't mind, would you mind just hitting the like button if you can, if you'd like to? I know it's probably because it's a Monday. It's 1:30 on a Monday, but probably maybe a lot of people are working and such. Regardless, I want to talk about a few things, then do some reactions to some of the recommendations. So, well, first I'm going to talk about a topic related to social control, and then we will react. We'll do some news analysis then. Fox Emblem actually sent me some good things there. And then we will talk about we'll do some reactions from the Discord channel. Okay, so we'll do a few things here. Again, we have a 5 super chat goal here. If we get to 5, I'll put on the Jester hat. Thank you, folks, for liking the stream. Thank you, thank you. And if we get those 5 super chats, I'll put on the Jester hat. And of course, I'll try to stop smoking for a bit. Real life cat DJ. Jovan Bradley had Forrest. Ooh, that sounds like it would have been fun on stream today. I tried to call in. I was so excited to get on that I forgot what I was going to talk about. Oh no, real life cat DJ. Well, I hope you get to talk a little bit with him. With him, I've heard the name. I don't know. Okay, maybe. So if we get 5 super chats, I'll put on the Jester hat, and of course, I will stop smoking for a bit. Of course, 10, then Jester collar, 15, and Jester makeup. Regardless, regardless. Hey, Lynn is a little political. Welcome, Lynn. We're having a great little convo with you on in comments, the comment sections on some of my YouTube videos. I would love to collaborate with you, Lynn. Good to see you here. Okay, guys. So thank you everyone for who's liked the stream. Let's get into some of this. This is just going to be a little segment I'm going to do here about one subject related to social control in the United States and in a lot of places with our economic system. Okay. So let's talk about this real fast. Let me get into this. All right. So let me pull up what we're going to be looking at here. Okay. Here we go. So you'll notice a very big, scary word on the screen here. Okay. And hey, I promise you, if you want to sound like, if you want to sound super smart or whatever, just pull this word out of your ass when you're in a conversation with someone. Okay. A great word for that. Okay. One of these very, very academic words that is more and it is repressive desublimation. Okay. Repressive desublimation. If I were in a classroom, I'd be like, repeat after me, repressive desublimation. Okay. I would guess, right? I would guess most people haven't heard this word before. It's not really in common usage, but let's talk about what this is. I think you will all find it remarkably relevant. Okay. Yeah, well, I'm glad real life Cat DJ, you did get 18 disastrous minutes. Forrest had to get off stream for a bit. I feel mortified. No, real life Cat DJ. I'm so sorry to hear that. I really am. Okay, guys. Um, Oh, that's great, Alan. I sent a very short video in the reactions tab about how capitalism uses fear to control us if you want to watch it later. Fantastic. That's actually like on brand for what we're talking about today. So I'll definitely take a look at that. Big Braden, welcome Big Braden. Big Braden newly promoted to one of the admins of our Discord. Congratulations Big Braden on that promotion, I suppose. Grace Abrams here. Hello, Grace Abrams. Hello, Hamina. Wow, go! Everyone's coming in now. This is great. Hello, Hamina, and all these originals coming in here. Fantastic. Okay, so just to repeat again, folks, we have if we get 5 super chats, I'll put on the Jester hat. 10, the collar, 15, the makeup, and today we're going to be talking about an element of social control. All right, called repressive desublimation. Again, it's a big word, but like I said, if you ever get into a convo with someone or you're on a date or something, you can use this word to make yourself sound super smart. Okay, it is not used in common usage, but let's talk about what this is. It is an element of social control. It is debated by academics, but I want to get your guys' view on it. Mithril, hello, Mithril. Mithril. I just think of Lord of the Rings whenever I see your name, Mithril. Welcome back, Mithril. So let's get into this, folks. So we are going to be chatting for a few moments. It won't take terribly long. Absolutely, Grace. I want your alternative point of view. Absolutely. I'm glad you're here. Lee Lane. Hello, Lee Lane. Glad to see you, Lee Lane. Another original. Okay. All right, you guys. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about repressive desublimation. Okay, and I'll explain what this is. It is do not fall for the jester's tricks. Yeah, maybe you shouldn't use this on a first date. Okay. All right. Wait, maybe till second, third date. Okay, just pull it out of nowhere. Okay. So repressive desublimation. What is it? Well, okay. I'm just gonna just to this. The reason I partially put this definition up on here is for you to see how a lot of times academics have trouble communicating in a way that is comprehensible to the public. It is an ongoing problem. Okay, so this is what this is a definition I once saw in a book. I'm going to read it to you, and let's see if you can make any goddamn sense of it. Okay, and then don't worry, I'll give you a easier definition of it. So here's the definition. What is repressive sublimation? Here is the social no. Here, the social no is eliminated, wherein all pleasures become allowed in commodified form, leading to the controlled expression of all desires and wants, as the presentation and manipulation of these into prefabricated commodified forms become the crucial tool of recuperation and control in post-industrial capitalism. Okay, I'm going to stop there. I think we can all yeah, I think you can see how this is a problematic definition. Okay, false consciousness is perpetuated and free exercise in pursuit of pleasure becomes a strategy of containment as individuals. Okay, you get it. You guys get it. Let's go on to what a good definition is to make. And it is sort of a rough real life Cat DJ, you are not wrong. You are not wrong when you say we're talking about Cracker Barrel. Okay, a little bit. You'll see what I mean here. Okay, so here we go. Let's go on to the next one. Okay, so this is I rewrote it in sort of a way that hopefully makes it more comprehensible. Okay, so repressive desublimation is when things that were once considered subversive and rebellious. Okay, so things that were considered rebellious or forms of resistance become part of the existing economic system, thus removing their subversiveness and rebelliousness. Does that make sense? Okay, let's look at some examples. Let me go into this a little bit more first. So basically, imagine you have some sort of cultural practice or something that some sort of fashion, some sort of something that is used in a way originally to subvert power structures and the way things actually absolutely real life Cat DJ uh that it sort of exists to resist the system as it exists. Okay, those under repressive desublimation is the process by which those things become integrated into that system so that they're no longer subversive or rebellious. I got some examples for you. Okay, in real life, Cat DJ, yeah, Meowzord, yeah, okay. Real life Cat DJ has gave an excellent example, punk and hippie. Okay, and so this next page will kind of give more credence to that. So here's an example, two examples. If anyone in the United States, especially, has been to a mall, you may have seen these two stores at some point. I don't know if Spencer's Gifts still exists anymore, but you've probably seen a Hot Topic. Okay. A Hot Topic, if anyone who doesn't know, is sort of a okay. Yeah. Yes. And yes, I like Spencer's. I do. I honestly do like Hot Topic. But if you look at these, so like Hot Topic, it basically sells clothing and other items that are sort of rebellious in nature, right? They're things that are allowing people to dress in a way that makes them feel that they're being rebellious. Okay. Spencer's same way. A lot of the stuff in there is exactly. Okay, Big Braden. Yeah, Spencer's, I guess, is also in Canada. So these are places that have commodified rebellious things, right? They have turned them into a sellable product. Now, Hot Topic, especially for those who don't know what being a goth is, okay, or being a goth, being emo, I think is another phrase. That used to be sort of a way, especially for teenagers and stuff, to express a very rebellious kind of nature. But over time that became integrated into capitalism to where it became this chain store that sells there you go, Meowzord, okay, that sells these things, which kind of makes it no longer rebellious because it has been, you're right, they're not the same thing, Jay Shadow. Welcome, Jay Shadow, by the way. They are not the same thing. Emo, goth, different things, but both of them are sort of rebellious subcultures, right? That originally started off as a rebellion against the system, but now have been integrated to be part of it in the expression of these two stores, for example. Okay, Hot Topic is a massive corporation that sells these products en masse. It basically has commodified the rebelliousness of it, which basically has gotten rid of the rebelliousness of it. It is no longer a way of opposing that system. It has become part of the system. Does this make sense? This is not necessarily this might not be a idea that is that's a good point, Jay Shadow. Goths hate the world, emos hate themselves. Yeah, and in both cases, those are sort of subversive ways of undermining the system we live in, right? Um, okay, exactly. If everyone is a hipster, nobody is a hipster. Okay, yeah, I got you, Jay Shadow. So let me give you another example here. So this is an example of repressive desublimation. Now, when you have an economic system like the one we live in, capitalism, okay, it's not like these things are planned. Okay, it's not like someone sits down in a dark and smoky room somewhere and goes, "Oh, let's repressively desublimate this subculture into the dominant culture." No, it doesn't happen that way. It is simply a result of how in our system we like to commodify things that make money. And so any sort of small movement, any kind of activity that is subversive that becomes popular will ultimately get kind of subverted or will be repressively desublimated and put into the system, which kind of weakens its power to subvert the system. Yes, Mithril, you're so right. You're so right. Okay. Here in the UK, I'm going to read what Mithril says here. Here in the UK, many advertisers have subsumed punk songs and aesthetics for their shitty products. Mithril, I don't know if you know this, but I used to be a punk. A lot of people in chat know this. I would dress like a punk. I made my own clothes, though, or at least I bought some things from like Spencer's or Hot Topic, but then I would sort of mod them out with my own stuff. But yeah, punk culture has really been subsumed into capitalist culture and things like that. Okay. Hell yeah, Big Brain. Love punk music. Jay Shadow says, I was a goth. in middle school and hated getting lumped in with the emos, even though we were all hung out in the same group. Hey, I get it, Jay Shadow. I've had students that are the same way. Um, okay, so that is one good example. Let me give you a historical example that might kind of explain. So this is kind of a minor example of this, right? Because those are subcultures, but they're not like subcultures that are actively resisting the system, I suppose you could say. I get it. I get it, Hamina. So it's again, it's just the idea here that yeah. I see what you're saying, Hamina. You're saying all like emo versus goth. It doesn't really matter. Miro, I believe it. Miro, I don't know if you heard me say, but I was a punk, so I totally get that. Chicago punks are badass. A lot of great anti-fascist punks in Chicago. Okay. Okay, so let me go on to an example where this can be kind of nefarious. All right. All right. So, uh, and I want while we're doing this, try to think of your own examples of this, folks. I would love to hear what you think of examples of where things have been repressively desublimated. Um, okay, here's one that bothers me personally. Okay. Exactly, Alan. It is more of an aesthetic now than a subculture. And the reason it's more of an aesthetic is because of repressive desublimation. Um, okay. So here we have, back in the 1920s, in New York City, there was a thriving LGBTQ cultural artifact thing that used to be done called balls. Okay. They were called balls. And these were houses or buildings where, LGBTQ folks, who especially at this time were an extremely marginalized group, would get together and hold these balls. Most of these folks were in minority groups. A lot of them were Black, Latino, Latina, groups like that, poor white people, okay? Um, and you can see here, so here's an image from one of these balls on the left. And what these balls would do is that they'd have competitions where members of the LGBTQ community would dress up in certain ways. There'd be categories like royalty realness, where you'd have to dress like royalty. And there would basically be a competition who could best mimic royalty, dressing up as royalty, and things like that. Okay. And this was a very subversive culture. It was sort of subverting gender expectations, and it was done inside the community as a way to sort of express themselves outside of the mainstream community. Another thing that was invented at this time was voguing, which is a kind of dancing that mimics what models do in Vogue magazine. Okay, the kind of pose, but there's even that song now that's like pose. Who is that? I can't even remember. Miley Cyrus or something. Okay, and you can see here. Um, on the right, biker, yes, mithril, bikers. Bikers is another thing that has been sublimated in our repressively desublimated in our culture. On the right here, you see an image of two gay men voguing, which is a form of dance. Okay. And this was a very rebellious, and it undermined sort of norms at the time. Okay. It also undermined kind of capitalism in a lot of ways, because it was sort of rejecting that. Okay. You all get what I'm saying. This was very subversive culture. Now, as many things happen, okay, as many of these things happens to many of these things, it became repressively desublimated. And when I go to the next page, you'll see what I mean, because that became this. All right. We now have it turned into this. For example, RuPaul's Drag Race. Now, I like RuPaul's Drag Race. There are aspects of it I'm not a fan of. Regardless, this has become a mass cultural phenomena of drag, which originated in balls, okay, these subversive meetings of LGBTQ folks, and now has become a massive money-making machine of drag queens, okay, on TV, etc. Okay, it is no longer considered particularly subversive to do this. Okay. Now, drag is still generally subversive, but in the mass media space, it is not. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. They got popular very fast, Big Braden. And even the look of being in drag is sort of becoming part of mainstream culture. Um, yeah. Yep. Yep, you're right, Meowzord. What about sexuality itself? Elon Musk cringe sexualized. Yeah, you're not wrong at all, Meowzord. That is an aspect of repressive desublimation, is when you turn sort of sexuality and things like that into commodified consumer goods. Absolutely, Meowzord. Okay. Let me and so again, RuPaul's Drag Race, perfect example of this. On the right, you have an image of Madonna. And this was a long time ago. I can't remember what year this was, but she posted a music video where she was voguing. And kind of after that, voguing started to become very mainstream and became kind of integrated into the economic system. And it kind of lost a lot of its uh, potential to be subversive or resistive of the system. Okay, does that make sense? Um, and this it's not to say that is not to say that Madonna that like a straight white woman could not vogue, but it is to say that when a straight white woman vogues and does it on a massive platform like a music video and makes it popular, the LGBT community, it no longer is sort of this subversive LGBTQ community thing, if that makes sense. Okay. So that is repressive desublimation. It is where these things that are originally repressive or liberational, okay, become integrated into the economic system and are no longer able to perform that function. Does anyone else have any other examples of this? I can give you, well, yeah. Anyone have any other examples of this? There's tons of other examples of this out there. I'm sure you can think of. Um, I've noticed a lot. Thank you, Hamina. Thank you, Hamina. Skateboarding. Skateboarding was 100% a subversive thing. There are lots of implications to skateboarding, including private property, because a lot of skateboarders would go onto private property and kind of engage in these free acts of using skateboards on private property. Tons of things like that. Okay, the culture around skateboarding was very interracial. But it became sublimated and is not really as much of that anymore. Yeah, Macy, it could be that as well. Billy Idol, yeah, you're absolutely right, Mithril. You're on fire today. In my opinion, Billy Idol did a lot of this. He took punk and made it commercial friendly, and I hate him for. I know, Mithril. Trust me, as a fellow punk, I know. I know. Okay. Okay. Yep, exactly, Macy. It's no longer enjoyable and personal. It's for views and money. Okay. Um, yes, Big Braden. Thank you. I forgot about the Big Braden. Big Braden says horror movies. Uh, to an extent, was massively rebellious. Okay, made tons of controversy. Like a lot of the early horror movies, like Halloween and things like that, were kind of on the fringes of society in terms of who watched them, etc. But then over time, they became repressively desublimated, and they became part of the system and no longer could oppose it. Yeah. Yep. Uh, oh, that's actually a good one too. Yeah, Tim Pool LARPs as a skater. Exactly. Repressive desublimation. Okay. Repressive depressation. So Meowzord. Now, I will say Meowzord. So Meowzord says, what about a cultural appropriation? Perhaps products that are part of a strong cultural identity are now being drop shipped by 14-year-old white kids. Yes. So cultural appropriation is a complex issue. It is. There are some intersections between cultural appropriation and repressive desublimation. Cultural appropriation is typically a bad thing when an oppressed minority group, their products, ideas, things like that, are sold and profited off of from non-oppressed groups. Okay, I think I've mentioned cultural appropriation before. The idea that like I think a lot of cultural appropriation is overblown, and what I mean by that is cultures take from each other all the time. The issue becomes when a oppressed minority group has their cultural capital taken from them and then profited off of from a non-exploited group. But yes, okay, um, you're absolutely right, Big Brain. You're absolutely right about that. It feels like every horror movie in the 80s was boycotted by Christian moms. Absolutely, absolutely, okay? And you'll notice, Big Braden, that a lot of those horror movies, after like the early slashers, there were suddenly a bunch of horror movies that came out that were about like exorcisms and things like that, which kind of allowed a lot of those, the dominant religious group Christianity, to sort of expropriate that and make it more mainstream in a way that was fine for Christianity. um, it is a mashup. Yeah, Lynn, you're right. America's culture itself is just a mashup that takes from a bunch of other cultures. It's not always what would be called cultural appropriation. But yeah, okay. Thank you, Alan. Oh my God, I can't believe I forgot that, Alan. Rap music. Rap music, 100%. Rap music used to be extremely subversive, extremely subversive. I think most of you probably know this. It used to be a form of resistance and rebellion in the Black community, but it has become massively commercialized, and it is now all over the place. It is no longer a symbol of resistance against the system. Okay. Dungeons and Dragons, yes, shut. Early Dungeons and Dragons was also sort of an attempted escape from mainstream society and such, but it has been repressively desublimated and now is no longer able to be a rebellious subculture. Okay. Um, yeah, Tim Pool bought that do-it-yourself skate park. That was popular. Yep, they did. Yes, he did. Yeah, you're right, Drake. These are great. Mithril, the misuses of Chumbawamba song, I get knocked down. Yeah. Mm-hmm. 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 I can give you I give you another example here. Anyone know the song "This Land Is Your Land, This Land Is My Land" from California? Okay, that song was written by a guy named Woody Guthrie. And there were other lyrics to it that we no longer sing. There was one lyric in it that basically said, I came across a sign that said private property. Um, but on the other side, it said nothing. Was this land made for you and me? He was a socialist, okay? And the later part of that song, he talks about bread lines. He talks about how private property is kind of taking away the American landscape from people, but we never sing that part of that song, okay? Because it became part of mainstream culture and that part got removed, and now we only sing it as a patriotic song, even though it was originally meant as a subversive song criticizing the American economic system. Okay. Um, the don't tre- shut brilliant. The don't tread on me flag, which drives me crazy because right-wing nutters have appropriated the don't tread on me flag, even though it was literally a revolutionary flag and flag of rebellion. Hmm. Okay. Um, All right. Yeah, Woody Guthrie, brilliant guy. Lynn, okay. Native American culture, absolutely, Hamina. That has been massively culturally appropriated. Now, I don't. There probably are some instances there of repressive desublimation, but it is definitely Hamina. Native American culture has been massively culturally appropriated and profited off of by people who are not Native American. Um, okay. Satanic Panic, yes, yes, Satanic Panic. Um, uh, right. The I don't like boots flag. Mr. Revolt is a Chumbawamba fan. Haycox and you have something in common, right? Okay. Um, yeah, right. No, you're right. I love that, Elliot Waffles. Yeah, the GOP and Trump is like, please, please, Mr. Trump, tread on me more. Yeah, that's very true. Okay. Okay, so you guys get the idea here. It's just another aspect of social control I wanted to mention. I like people being aware of these things. Again, this is not something that like you get people like elites or something sitting in a room and going, "Oh, hey, we should appropriate this to repress it." That's not how it happens. It sort of just happens naturally in our economic system. Not all forms of social control are intentional. But this is another form of social control because this also means you constantly have the people like the people have to constantly come up with new ways to culturally express rebellion, new ways to develop ways of resisting culturally, okay, because all our movements are typically being subsumed into that higher thing, okay. I can even talk about how right wingers are obsessed with the American Revolution, and things like that. And a lot of that has been repressively sublimated because it was a revolution against an established order, but it no longer means that. It now means sort of being a conservative standing up for the established order. Um, yeah. Uh, yep, you're right. A lot of folks. This is great. Oh God, this is great. Okay, yeah. Um, Mithril, working class culture has been grabbed by so many unpleasant people here in the UK. It's the same thing here, Mithril. It is the same thing here. Okay. Henry G., like Helen Keller, was a hardcore commie, 100%. And was definitely a hardcore commie. But we don't ever really hear about that, do we? Okay. And we also see this in movies. There was a Helen Keller movie where they didn't really mention this. So even icons like that get repressively sublimated into the system. Uh, okay. Macy Schroeder, is the mini skirt rebellious? Yes. Okay. Macy Schroeder. This is another example. Okay. So, for example, mini skirts used to be a form of rebellion against a patriarchal system where women were expected to suppress their sexuality, but it has now turned into literally just okay, you see what I mean, all right? Like, things like that. Um oh, excuse me, goodness, okay, all right, yeah, absolutely, folk music is extremely subversive, but a lot of that has been repressively sublimated, so, again, just be aware of these things in our world that have been repressively sublimated, and don't lose sight of their rebellious origins. It's just another way that, we the people, our ability to resist or undermine the system gets kind of removed. Okay. Oh my God, real life cat DJ, don't even start with me. You're totally right. Cops being massive fans against Rage Against the Machine. I have met cops like that, and Rage Against the Machine is utterly not pro police. Another example here, folks, is the Punisher. If you guys seen the Punisher symbol on like the back of cars and stuff, police will sometimes have the Punisher symbol. I mean, anyway, so this is repressive sublimation. Okay. Yeah, it is. Okay. Hey, Fox Emblem, welcome, comrade, to the DSA. Okay, guys. So, let's go now to I know, right, Big Braden? Okay. So I just wanted to quickly cover that. That's all I really have for you on that topic. It was just a short little thing I wanted to cover. Repressive desublimation, interesting to be aware of. Okay. So let us what I'd like to do now, okay, first of all, folks, if we get 5 super chats, I'll put on the Jester hat and I'll stop smoking for a bit. If we get 10, I'll put on the collar. 15, I will put on the makeup. I know it's a Monday. There's not that many folks in stream right now. That's no problem. But just a reminder, if you'd like to send a super chat, please do. Second of all, you can join our Discord if you haven't already, and also please like the stream if you guys don't mind. I got 16 likes. There's 24 people in here. Would appreciate it if you like the stream. That'll just help me get more people in here. Okay. All right. So let me move on now. So we have some news items to talk about. Fox Emblem sent me some good stuff. I'm glad you're here. Um, uh, Trump, what do I say? Yeah, oh my God. Trump Epstein files. Thank you for coming into chat. Your name makes my day. Your name makes me day. Okay. Um, Trump Epstein files. Howdy. Here for shenanigans. Think Trump has found me yet? Yeah. Let's be honest. Trump Epstein files. Trump has found you. Yeah, that's true. Trump Epstein files. Trump has found you. Okay. Alas, I suspect Trump doesn't want you made public for a number of reasons, as I'm sure we can all guess why. Thank you, Shut, for putting in chat. Please join our Discord, folks, if you haven't already. It's a great little growing community, and we have lots of great conversations on there and such. Um, There's no, oh, oops, there's no ep there. It's Trumpstein. Yeah, mix of the two. Trumpstein. Oh yeah, Trumpstein. I'm sorry. Yeah, the Trumpstein files. Yep. Okay. Um, okay. I'm sorry. That my mistake there. Trumpstein files. Okay, that's good. Okay. All right, guys. Let's go here to um. Okay. I love this. Yeah, Trumpstein should be a horror movie. Did he really sign? I didn't know that, Jay Shadow. Did he sign an executive order about flag burning, which is protected under the First Amendment and is ridiculous? Well, who cares if people burn the American flag? It is just an object. It is an act of freedom of speech. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my face screen here. We have a few news items I wanted to cover. Most of them were sent to me by Fox Emblem, so thank you, Fox Emblem, for sending me those in Discord. I wanted to give Fox Emblem credit for that. As always, folks, another horror show day in the United States. Okay, God help us all. Okay, let me pull up these articles I wanted to chat about. Okay, so first is this one. I don't think anyone is surprised about this. Let me make sure you can all see this. Let me get it back here. Okay, so go back to the live stream page. So Jerome Powell, who is the chairman of the Federal Reserve, is deeply concerned about the state of the economy. Who would have thought, right? Who would have thought that all of us barely struggling to survive all the time and being in massive medical debt and the tariffs and everything else might cause a little bit of an issue with our economy, if not the world economy. Okay, shocking, absolutely shocking. Anyway, so let me, where'd it go? There it is. Okay. So, uh, you got these are great comments. Barbarian is a great movie, by the way. I love horror movies. Love horror movies. Was he Grace? I didn't know that. Okay. Uh, I have been summoned. London is here. Hey, London. Okay. So, I know, right? Yeah, you're right. Yeah, no shit, right, Hamina? It's like obvious. All of us average Americans, all of us people around the world who are not billionaires, millionaires, etc., know this. Okay. Are you serious? That's insane. This is all crazy. All this. Okay. Yeah. To add to this, the Fed is likely to cut rates in September, which will cause hyperinflation. So, yippee! Great! Hey! Can't wait for us to go into a hyperinflation like Weimar Germany did before the Nazis took over. Well, hey, at least they already have taken over, right? Okay. So this article here, folks, is saying that the Fed chair is warning that the economy is even worse than we realized. Admittedly, we all realize that. It was the people at top that didn't realize it because they don't have to live in the situation all of us do. So he says here, the combination of tariff-driven inflation and a downturn in hiring has posed a challenging situation for the U.S. economy, according to Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell. Delivering an annual address in Jackson Hole. Well, I'm sorry, I know I'm a child. I always thought that name was funny. Please forgive me, anyone from Wyoming. I didn't think it's funny. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, delivering an annual address in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Friday morning, Powell underscored that the economy was engaged in a curious kind of balance, from a slowdown in both the supply and demand for workers. The unusual situation suggests that downside risks to employment are rising, and if those risks materialize, they can do so quickly in the form of sharply higher layoffs and rising unemployment. Powell pointed to the July jobs report, which revised employment data from the previous 2 months. The updated numbers moved the 3-month growth average to 35,000, the lowest 3-month period since 2010. It was in stark contrast from the growth felt during 2024, when the measure showed an increase of 168,000 jobs per month. The July report's downsizing also suggests that while some sectors such as healthcare and social assistance gained jobs, the vast majority of markets lost employment. This is a bad sign, obviously. Before the Great Depression, there were massive cuts of labor and hiring. We're not seeing that quite yet, but this could be the start of another economic downturn. There are lots of problems here, lots of problems. Um, uh, yeah, okay, it is a big issue. And so it's just something to keep an eye out on. Knowing the orange Mussolini and all the chaos he has caused in the economic world, this could get worse. It's unclear right now, and also as Fox Emblem said, they're thinking of what is it? Cutting interest rates. Was that what it was? Or I'm sorry, what do you say, Fox Emblem? I should know just based off which one does what. There we go. Yep. Cut rates, which will cause inflation, 100%. So this and plus, Trump is putting tons of pressure on Jerome Powell to make economic decisions that are not independent of the government. So the chairman of the Federal Reserve is supposed to be an independent actor that makes decisions solely based off economic analysis, but Trump is constantly trying to politicize it and put pressure on him to make decisions that Trump likes versus what the economic experts at the Federal Reserve say should happen. That's a big problem, very big problem. Okay. Alan W., the Epstein files are woke. The jobs numbers are all woke. It's all woke. Don't tread on me. Exactly. Okay. Big Braden. Yes, we briefly talked about John Bolton's home being raided, which is just another sign of the authoritarian times we're living in. Obviously, I don't care if John Bolton's in prison, but not for this. It's just it's just Trump doing a authoritarian move to push back against this guy who doesn't like him politically. Rick Wolf's, I love that. America, all circus and no bread. Yeah, please. I almost wish we were in the Roman Empire. At least the government would give us gladiatorial fights and throw us bread and circuses and crap. But we don't even get that. We just get to work all the time, not have health care while the country's collapsing. Okay. Anyway. Yeah. Oh my God, Foxum, that is not good. That is not good. So this is a really bad. This is not good. Okay. Okay. So all right. So that's one story I wanted to cover. Another one also provided by Fox Emblem here, who sent me some great articles to look at, is this one. I'll pull it up. Oh. No. That's just the general page for it. I'll get it back. I'll get open Discord. So another thing. So Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Do we all know who he is? You're right, Oz. You're right. Yeah, I know, Hamina. I totally know. Hamina, scary times, getting harder to laugh, easier to cry. 100%. Not good. Okay. Oz, if they tell us we are lucky to live in the richest nation, the land of the free, they don't need to prove it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I mean, if they have to constantly tell us that, then clearly there's something wrong there, because that should just be something that everyone knows if it's true. Yep, they are. They are trying to send Kilmore Abrega Garcia to Uganda. I'm going to pull up. Let me go into Discord here. I know Fox Emblem sent it to me. Let me see if we can find it here. Oh, where did I put this thing? All right, reactions. Okay, here we go. So this is an article. Okay, here we go. So I'll open this up now. This is the New York Times. I'll pull it up over here. So if you guys, here we go. So again, this poor man. I don't even know what to say. Okay, he was first deported illegally to El Salvador. A judge ordered that he be basically brought back, or the facilitator be brought back. He got brought back, and then and if I'm getting any of this wrong, folks, tell me. So much has happened, I often lose track of what the hell is happening with him. So Kilmore Abrego Garcia, the immigrant who was wrongfully deported to El Salvador and brought back again to face criminal charges, was arrested again after the administration indicated it was planning to deport him to Uganda. By the way, Mr. Garcia has zero relation to Uganda. The Trump administration has been talking about doing things like sending people to Sudan who have no relation to Sudan, sending people to Libya, sending people to El Salvador, and they have been sending people to El Salvador, even though they have no relation to those countries. It is just sort of exile, banishment to other countries. It is disgusting. So he was brought back to face a criminal charge, was arrested again, and the administration indicated it's planning to deport him to Uganda now. Mr. Garcia, who was released from custody 3 days ago, is now once again being processed for deportation. The Homeland Security Secretary said the administration has insisted Mr. Abrego Garcia would never go free on American soil. And as a reminder, folks, Kilmore Abrego Garcia is not a criminal. Okay, yeah, I think he may have done one small thing in the past or whatever. But I know that they're trying to claim that he's linked to MS-13. He is not. Zero evidence of that. Um, um, it is disgusting. Okay, and this is fascism in the raw. This is where you're just going after people basically because of their skin color. I mean, that's kind of what it seems like in his case. He's a foreigner, therefore get rid of him. Okay, it's terrifying. I don't even know what else to say about it. It's scary. It's very scary, and I know we've been seeing it for a while now. But this poor man is being tossed around like a political pawn. Um, uh, yeah. Okay. His criminal charge is driving coworkers to work. Is that? Are you serious? See, okay, so inhumane. So I just wanted to update you on that story. Uh, okay. So is that true, Macy? He had a domestic violence charge against him. That is fair. If that's, I didn't know that about him, but yeah, you're right. They're always trying to be like, you're actually right. Before they were like, oh, oh yeah, we're so pro women and stuff. We're trying to get rid of Kilmore Brega Garcia while also taking away women's rights. Using phrases like "I like to grab them by the." Okay, yeah, that's perfect. He was the one accused of domestic disturbance, but the charges were dropped. Okay, that's right. I remember now. He was also got a traffic ticket a few years ago because he was a Latino man driving Latino men to work through a red state. Oh my God, you guys. Okay, I totally forgot about this stuff. You're right, and his wife does still defend him. Okay. So we can all agree here that let's say even if he had done that domestic assault, it was pardoned or not pardoned. It was the charges were dropped, and it is not even if folks, even if he had committed a domestic assault. That does not excuse deporting him to a third country that he has no relation to. That is against due process. That is inhumane. It is just, it's horrible. Okay. Uh, so I am an immigrant, and so Grace Abrams, I am an immigrant in Canada who came from my parents as a child. So I am for immigration. When we were qualifying for immigration, we had to go to the Canadian embassy. Yeah. Okay. Um, Elliot Waffles, Trump violated the SCOTUS ruling to immediately facilitate his return. That's right, he did. So he's just like he's just willy nilly. Like I don't need to listen to the courts. I don't need to listen to this. I don't need to listen to that. Which is unitary executive theory that a lot of these fascist monsters believe in, which is the idea that the president should basically have unilateral, universal power to do whatever he wants, like a CEO. Um, uh, no, Grace Abrams, I am not saying that I'm sorry, Grace Abrams, you're saying what I am trying to say is should Biden have just let people into the country without doing extensive background checks? No, I am not saying that, Grace Abrams. But what I am saying is that this is massively inhumane, okay, to deport people like this to third countries that they have no relationship to. That is monstrous. It is, yeah, okay. It's also there was never really an immigration crisis. There were a lot of people coming across the border without documentation. There is a lot that goes into this. So once you cross the border without documentation, if you're called an asylum seeker, and you actually have a chance to go to an asylum office and get the asylum. Some people weren't doing that. It was sort of a legal issue. There also weren't enough immigration judges. But no matter what we decide on that issue, I think we can all agree that this is inhumane and this is fascist behavior. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right, Grace. So this is a big issue. And Anyway, yeah, and you're right, Alan. Undocumented immigrants and documented immigrants commit less crimes per capita than native-born Americans. 100%. And yet there's this attempt to link the two things. There's this attempt to say that immigrants are violent, rapists, things like that. But okay, so let's say that's the case, then you better be saying that native-born white Americans, native-born Americans generally are massive rapists and horrible people, because that's what the stats say. All humans are capable of committing crimes. All humans are capable of committing crimes, including some immigrants. But even then, yeah, a small number of them. It's not nearly as many of them as it is of native-born Americans. Um, I am a socialist in this regard. In the future, I would love to see a situation where people can move freely across the planet. That's my ultimate goal. I'm not saying we can accomplish that now. I do think that there's issues with the border in terms of how we get people through to immigration judges and stuff. We don't have enough immigration judges. And by the way, if you really wanted to fix the issues with the border, you would hire a ton more immigration judges, make the situation more humane, whatever. But we know that'll never happen. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yep. And you're right. Most of the people that try to get into the country are just trying to seek a better life for themselves and their children. You're right. And by the way, Oz, this is something else that people don't remember, because people, especially in the United States, don't really care about international law or ideas of human rights. So Oz says the United Nations Declaration on Human Rights, it was signed by every nation in the UN, and it gave provisions for how to deal with immigration into your country, which we violate left and right all the time. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And you're right, folks. Jean, yeah. The Trump administration, the ICE have been arresting people at their immigration hearings. If you want people to go through the legal immigration process, the worst thing you can do is arrest people at their immigration hearings, because what's going to happen? People aren't going to go to their immigration hearings anymore, and they won't be able to get into the legal process to become legal immigrants. Um, yeah, all and lot of those. A lot of those people come from countries that the United States destabilized in Latin America. Thank you for that, Fox Emblem. Um, yeah, you're right, Meowzord. The Fifth Amendment does say due process for all. All. I can't believe I have to explain this to the goddamn Trump administration. Well, of course I do. Of course I do. Of course I do. They don't give a shit about the Constitution. They never did. Um, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you're right, and Alan, the language around illegal immigrants, I sometimes use it accidentally, but we have to understand, folks. These are just people who don't have documentation for being here. They're not illegal. Like they're not as people. They are not illegal. Okay. All right. I don't think many in this chat defend Biden. He is also a war criminal. That is accurate. Anyone in this chat love Joe Biden? Let's see. Anyone in this chat a big fan of Joe Biden, Joe Robinette Biden, the pro-genocidal Zionist guy who, Okay. Um, okay. I'm done being frustrated. Um, uh, okay. Uh, So, how do you stop a terrorist from coming over? So, Grace, through the legal immigration process, you can do a process by which you vet people. I am not saying we should not have a legal immigration process, but how we're doing it now doesn't actually. It's just inhumane. It violates international law, and it doesn't really solve the problem. Okay, it does not really solve the problem. If you cut out everyone from coming in, you're going to stop a lot of innocent people who have a legal right to be here. And there's tons of other things that go into this. Yeah, there's a ton of issues here. And by the way, the terrorists, for example, from 9/11, they came in by plane. This obsession with the border is kind of a bit much. Okay, it seems to be racialized a bit. Seems to be a little bit racialized. You know, you're right, Grace Abrams. You have to vet them before they come in, but a lot of folks will still come in because they're trying to come to have create a better life for themselves and their family, which is why we have a legal immigration process where after you come in and seek asylum, you go through a legal process. But there are not enough judges here because we do not properly fund that part of the system. Okay. Um, and I will point out, folks, that the most common form of terrorism in the United States, does anyone know what it is? Do I even have to say it? What is the most common ideological background of terrorists in the United States? Do I have to say it? Do we all know? I hope we all know. Yes, guns. Now, do we know who religious? What kind? What kind, though, folks? What kind of religion? What? Thank you, Elliot Waffles. Radical right wing domestic terrorism. The most terrorist attacks in this country are done by radical right-wing terrorists. This is documented even by the FBI. The Ku Klux Klan, for example, is a radical right-wing terrorist group made up of native-born Americans. The vast majority of terrorism in this country is done by radical right-wing terrorists. Do you ever hear the Trump administration screaming, or any right-winger conservatives screaming about, "Oh, we need to stop all this radical right-wing terrorism that's happening"? No, 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 no. It's either always, oh, it's the Muslims that are the problem. It's people coming across the border, these Latino terrorists. Okay, the biggest problem we have with terrorism is our own native-born people who espouse Nazi or right-wing ideologies that do terrorism. All the stats show that. Um, okay, uh, yeah, Grace Abrams. Okay, you're actually making a fair point there. Maybe I was kind of missing what you were saying there. So Grace Abrams says the problem is that is being done after. Grace, that is partly true. Okay, I'll admit that. So when people come across the border, a lot of times we lose track of them. That is absolutely true. Yeah, I'll concede that point. That being said, there is then a process after you've come across the border to go to a judge and things like that. Um, and I personally don't care that much when that happens. However, yes, if we look at the legal system, there should be a better way to make sure that people do go to the judges and don't just come across and then stay here without being vetted. I understand that. Again, for me personally, I don't think it's that big of an issue, but you are right about that. Okay. That being said, posting ICE at courthouses and stuff certainly makes that much harder because people are not going to go to courthouses and actually go through the legal process if they're terrified to do that. Okay, so it is that is a fair point though, Grace. I should have I think I missed some of your chats there. Okay, all right. Uh, so guys, Supper Voter. Hey, Regatoni, welcome back, Regatoni. Mithril. I know tourists. Yeah, Mithril. Don't remind us about George W. Bush, the war criminal, who could not string together a sentence of words without sounding like an absolute idiot. Well, kind of sounds like our current president. Okay, I know Grace Abrams. I know you know that. I know you're not like pro ICE. I'm just saying. Okay, all right. Uh, yeah, yeah, and Macy, that is my so Macy, I would agree with you. So again, the easiest way to fix if you think immigration is a problem to fix, the easiest way to fix it is to build up the countries where people are coming from, so that they have an economic future there and things like that. Do kind of a Marshall Plan for South America and Central America. Rebuild those countries after years of being destroyed and imperialized by the United States, and you will see the problem fixed. Okay. But alas, we won't do that because we don't want to spend the money, and because all the rich have all the money, the military has all the money. So anyway, okay, okay, guys. You're right, Alan. Obama deported more people than any president in history up to that point. Biden also deported a lot of people. Um, okay. So, folks, I just wanted to mention that story. This is terrifying. Also, I'm in Ohio. I know who here lives in a state, if you're in the United States, that has now built one of these camps to house immigrants. I know they're being built all over the place. It's like the Gulag Archipelago over here. Next door to me in Indiana, they're building one. Um, the horror never ends. And by the way, folks, once you build a camp, it doesn't only have to be used for migrants. God knows what they'll be used for in the future. It's just a terrifying idea. Grace Abrams, like I have said previously, yeah, you're right. Right now, it would be hard to do, but that's why we need major reforms so that the money becomes available for us to do that. Um, we need to fix the things that you're mentioning first. We need to fix our problems first, and then we can do the other stuff as well. Okay. Um, okay. Yeah. Thank you, Oz. Do we remember what Trump said? That the homegrowns are next. Homegrowns are next. London, good luck on your first day of university. Good luck. Okay. Yeah. Trump said the homegrowns are next. What the hell does that mean? Okay. So as in like he might actually end up going after people were born in the United States. And he's also been trying to get rid of birthright citizenship. I mean, okay, it's terrifying. We all just need to see what's coming down the pipe here, okay? Okay, so let me go back to my face here, folks. Okay, guys. So again, folks, if we get 5 super chats, I'll put on the Jester hat. And if we get 10, I'll put on the Jester collar. If we get 15, I'll put on Jester makeup. All right. Let me take a little drink here. I'm a little thirsty. Okay. So, folks, let me let's what let's do. I'm gonna find. There's some great videos that I saw posted in Discord that I want to react to. So we're gonna do that next. Um, yeah. Yeah, I know. God, don't even remind me, Hamino. You're right. We got a lot of still got plenty of time left for Trump to destroy as much as he can. Um, Oh, no, you're right. You're right. Yeah, you're all right here. Elliot Waffle. Stephen Miller made it clear before the election that they intended to turbocharge the denaturalization initiative. Yes, they did. Oh my God. Okay. Alan W. Macy, ICE could literally knock on MAGA's doors and say, "We're coming back for you next week," and they would still refuse to believe it. That actually is not an exaggeration, Macy. I think you probably know this, right? There have been MAGA folks who have been on social media, be, you know, being very upset because their husbands, their wives are being deported. And they're like, we didn't know he would do this. We didn't know it would come after me. We didn't know they'd come after that. I mean, like, what do you expect, right? Like, I mean, I don't know what these people were thinking originally. The discourse was there. They said what they wanted to do. And of course, they're doing it. The disconnect is really shocking for me. Uh, Macy, thank you, Macy. Thank you for the super chat. We need a mood board for this channel, right? Oh, Macy, you know what a teacher likes to hear. Yes, mood boards are great. Um, okay, so Fox Emblem, we don't provide for people who migrate here, and if you believe that, you fell for it. Yeah, that's true. I mean, we do not provide for the people who migrated here. I mean, honest folks, even now, sometimes like we will pay for like the healthcare of people who come here. I don't care. They're human beings. Everyone deserves it. It's healthcare, but regardless, Grace Abrams, those people in Mississippi, the majority are poor. No one cares to help them, but we are very happy to help others outside the USA. This is ridiculous. Yeah, and I will say we can do both, Macy. Why don't we do both? Why don't we help people outside the USA and help people within the United States? Um, the Trump administration's defunding of aid programs will result in the death of millions of people. Literally, literally, literally. If you look at every study of it, it's kill a lot of people around the world that we're cutting off that aid. And yes, the people in Mississippi need a lot of help, but our government system is horribly corrupt and terrible. And we need to fix those things so that we can help the people abroad and our own people. We can do it all at once. We are the wealthiest country in human history. Okay. Let's see here. Uh, oh, Meowsword, I would not be surprised of the brain chip stuff here. Okay. I know this is wrong, but the Cubans are now finding out they're not part of the Republican team. Yeah, yeah, yes, they are. Okay, guys, we should start tracking the people who have been and are passing from government greed. Yeah, yes, we should. Yes, we should. That would be an excellent idea, actually. We need to, there needs to be some sort of spreadsheet or something somewhere that shows, oh, yeah, this decision killed these many people. I'm sorry, unalived these many people. This decision unalived these many people. And we're going to find a pretty quick a lot of horror there, okay? Um, okay, guys. Okay, so let's watch some, but Marco Rubio, right, Hamina? Okay. Um, okay. Yes, Krumstein Files, still love your name. $450,000 a day to have the National Guard in DC. It would cost $150,000 a day to house all the homeless in DC. 100%. It's just, yeah, okay. We could easily, by the way, folks, there are more empty houses and apartments in this country that are not being occupied than there are homeless people. We could easily house everyone if we really wanted to, but alas, we don't. And as Trumpstein Files mentioned here, yeah, okay, spending all that money to militarize a city because Trump had a little bitch bait. I shouldn't use the word bitch. Had a little, had a little snowflake moment and thought, oh, there's too many homeless, and one of my people got attacked. Is disgusting. Um, Absolutely, it'd be shocking, right, Alan? Um, Alan W. Housing the homeless would actually be cheaper than arresting them or criminalizing. Shocking. Shocking. Who knew that the homeless can be helped with homes and it would be cheaper? Ugh. Yeah, I agree with you, folks. I'm saying this as a gay man. Stephen Miller is super gay coded. Like I don't know what's going on there. Maybe it's some sort of self hatred or something. I don't know. He's a monster, though. I really don't want to, although I'm tempted to say, oh yeah, he's definitely part of the LGBTQ community. I refuse to do it because he's a monster. Okay. Um, okay, guys. Yeah, you're right. Maybe if we required people to pass a math test before running for office or being hired for a government job, right? Okay. Well, then there'd be no politicians left, probably, because anyway. Okay. No, you're right, Macy. You're right. Okay, so okay, guys. So let me look at what we have to react to now in Discord. Thank you for the super chat, Macy, folks. If we get 4 more, I'll put on the Jester hat. Really appreciate your support. If you have the means, please send me something. But if not, hey, I get it. I know. Trust me, I know the state of the world is not great. Okay, guys, let's see. What we got in Discord here to react to. I did see some really great stuff. Okay. Do 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 do. I did see some people post in the suggestions page, and that's okay. I'm looking at those. Just remember, folks, if you do go to the Discord, excuse me, if you do go to the Discord, try to post reaction suggestions in the reactions page. I get it though; they kind of sound similar. So okay, let me see what we got here. Oh no 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 no! Ooh, okay, oof. These are good. These are good. Kiwi Herman. Oh my god. Okay, let me see what we got. Oh my god, this is great. Okay, oh, you know what? Let's watch this one from Vintage Ninja. Is Vintage Ninja here? Let me open this up. Okay. 1 second here. Okay. All right, so this one, let's actually, I like the look of this one. This one is, I know this is kind of off topic a little bit, but this looks good. It says, what does U.S. healthcare look like abroad? Let me go back here to the chat. All right, so. Oh, Henry, that's right, Henry Jew. I knew that. I knew that. Thank you, Hamina, for the $1 super chat. Thank you very much. Very helpful, folks. We only need 3 more, and I'll put on the Jester hat. Thank you again. Okay, guys. So, Henry G, we're going to watch yours. This is from the New York Times. And let me go through this ad real fast. Let me also set up the audio. I don't think you guys can hear it right now. I'll fix that real fast. Okay, so this one's called "What Does the U.S. Healthcare Look Like Abroad?" I'm sure the Europeans in chat maybe can even contribute to this more. Let me see here. Okay, so let me make sure we got the got that up, and then let me make sure we got the application audio. Okay, here we go. All right, guys. So let's watch this. I'm not sure what's going to be going on, but we'll find out very quickly. Oh, great! We get to see Bill O'Reilly's face. Nothing makes me happier. Okay, let's go.
Right then.
That's a form of communism because no country could afford those payments without seizing the assets of everybody else.
What? Welcome to Finland!
Oh!
Dudes, what's going on? Oh my god!
Oh, that's how I feel every day. That is how I feel every goddamn day whenever I hear news stories. Those who have been in this chat for a while, like through streams, every single time we talk about healthcare, people in the chat tell us horror stories, right? I mean, okay.
Me so mad. I mean, come on, guys. It's not that hard. Look around the world. Everyone else seems to have figured it out, right? Imagine you're in America.
Right,
which of these options would be best for you?
That's
Oh
yeah,
my
that's
God, look at this. Let's take a look at these. Deductibles, massive deductibles. This one is $185 a month with a massive deductible, which means you'll have to pay that $8,550 out of pocket before you're able to actually get much help from it. This one is more expensive with $50 copays. I mean, these numbers are insane. These numbers are absolutely insane. I mean, this is crazy. By the way, the number one reason for bankruptcy in the United States is medical bankruptcy. Deeply immoral. Deeply immoral. That medical bankruptcy is the number one reason why people go bankrupt in this country, because you can't help if you get sick. Have I said this enough?
a lot to think about.
What is an OOP max?
I guess with what I got here, I would go with Plan D because
something else, folks. This is extremely confusing. The healthcare companies have partially made this super confusing, right? Like, most people never even learn what a deductible is. You don't learn that in school. You don't learn what a copay is. You don't learn this crap. You got to learn it when you're older. And then by the time you learn it, it's a mess.
Deductible is 0.
Okay, there's more.
Gold, HMO, PPO.
I don't even know what some of these mean. What is technically the difference between an EPO, a PPO, and an HMO? Like, I know. Okay.
PPO, HMO.
And what are copays? I don't get. That's like if you pay for Spotify Premium and Spotify still makes you pay every time you listen to a song.
It's too complicated.
I'm lost. I'm so lost.
Yeah.
In Canada, I don't have to really think about
35% of Americans, that is more than a third of Americans, don't avoid medical care because they don't even want to worry about the cost of it.
the different plans that I could pick from.
You just pay one amount per month and all the major treatments are covered.
At least 70% of our medical expenses are always covered.
I'm sorry, Kimberly, that is an excellent point. A lot of people who are homeless because of medical debt, okay?
Uninsured, unable to afford treatment for a tooth infection that keeps flaring up. Cook Emma Rittner lost her job in March.
I did manage to get antibiotics from a friend whose mom regularly goes down to Mexico, and I've been taking that self-medicating based off of Dr. Google's advice.
Dr. Google's advice.
Self-medicating. And folks, by the way, another reason for the drug problem in the United States is that people do self-medicate. I cannot tell you, and I told you all, I literally have a tooth right now that's aching, but I'm avoiding going because I just lost my job and I need to save some money up so I can make sure that I can survive the next few months while I'm kind of building up this channel. And you know what I will do in order to self-medicate? I'll smoke marijuana. Okay. I will take an edible. There are a lot of people that do these things because, or they'll drink, or they will take that one thing that's super addictive. Oh God, I can never remember the name of it. But the self-medicating causes drug addiction a lot of the times. Okay.
Here in Japan, even if you lose a job, you would never lose your health insurance.
When you lose your job, that's when society should help you.
I've chosen a creative job and had the backing of a healthcare system. But if you don't have that, do you pick the safe job or do you pick the creative job?
Yeah, okay, 100%. We've talked about this, how it is illegal for the government to negotiate drug prices. Okay.
The average price per unit for insulin in 2018.
Germany, $11.
Canada's $12.
Oh my God. Look. Australia, almost only $7. And then to go to the United States, $98. That is one of the most important medications in the world, by the way, is insulin.
Wow. It's like 8 times the price of insulin in Canada. I guess that explains why Americans come up to Canada to buy medication.
Yep. As I said before, they also go down to Mexico and they go to Cuba. They literally flee the country as medical refugees to go to other places to get medical care because it's so expensive here.
I'm sorry, hold on. So the FDA doesn't have any authority over the prices?
We have also privatized health insurance companies in Germany, but the prices are regulated by the government.
The government negotiates the prices and fixes that price for 2 years.
In Singapore, they regulate this stuff to keep the prices down. And
actually, Hamina, let me bring up something. I don't think I've mentioned this before, folks. In the United States, okay, Hamina said abhorrent considering how our food is deliberately horrible for us and causes diabetes. There is an even worse aspect to this. In the United States, there is a correlation between poverty and obesity. A correlation between poverty and obesity. Why? Because if you are poor, if you cannot afford healthy foods, you will go for less healthy foods like fast food. You may even live in a food desert where there are no grocery stores with fresh food in a nearby radius, and you will go for unhealthy food, which will increase the chances of you getting diabetes. And since you're poor, you're going to be a lot harder for you to afford the medications to treat that diabetes, okay, or that obesity, or whatever else you may be having, your heart disease, because of the horrific processed, high sugar, high salt, high fat foods that are cheap. Okay. Yeah, you're right, Macy. Alan, don't worry. RFK Jr. is going to make Maha more raw milk, baby. Yeah, fantastic. I'm so excited for the guy that has a brain worm to do that. Yeah, Macy, if you're working 16 hours a day, if you're working 16 hours a day, that's another good point. Who the hell has time to cook? If you're working so much, it is so much easier. I did this. I would do this during the school year. There would be like days in a row where I would order food in or stop by somewhere on my way home because I was exhausted. I didn't have the time to sit and make a fresh meal. Big Braden, you think the brain worm is in charge? Yeah, yep, I believe it is. I'm sure it is. Okay. For universal healthcare to be effective, we'd have to invest in the infrastructure too. You'd be surprised how many underserved communities communities don't have a single clinic within a reasonable district. Yes, you're right, Alan, and they're making it worse because they've been cutting all this rural funding. So we need much better infrastructure. We need more of it. There's tons of different issues here. Nathan, welcome to the chat. Does he really have a brain worm? I haven't heard about this. Nathan? Oh, Nathan. Oh, I am so glad to be the one to tell you this. Yeah. Okay. He got a parasite in his brain. It was literally a brain worm, and it drilled a tunnel into his brain, and they were able to kill it and get rid of it, but that damage is permanent. And we know that this is factually true. I look it up, Nathan. If you watch a video of JFK Jr. talking, you can probably kind of tell that he definitely had a brain worm. Okay, yeah. So please, please look it up. I don't want you. I know it sounds crazy, so you shouldn't believe me. But yes, JFK Jr. had a worm in his brain and has probably pretty significant brain damage. Is that true, Macy? Maybe I'm wrong. Okay, I could be wrong about that. I could be wrong that that's not the reason for his voice. I guess maybe I should say some of his trains of thought get lost and stuff. Okay. Meows, or at least RFK Jr. can do a pull up, right? Okay. A hospital near me will probably close. My friends will need to travel 15 more miles. Jesus Christ. Okay. Macon, welcome back to chat, Macon. I've spent a lot of time getting medical care this year. I have had to pay many thousands of dollars despite meeting my deductible. What are we doing? What are we doing? I'm going to lose my mind. Having Crohn's and depression did a lot to radicalize me. Macon, I have a friend, a very close friend of mine who has Crohn's, and this individual went into medical bankruptcy for being born with a condition they could not help, Crohn's disease. And don't even get me started on the depression. I have clinical depression. I know how much that costs. Could you get therapy for the medication, to go to psychiatrists? I feel you there, Macon. Okay. Right. I know, Nathan. I know. Henry G. Crazy how RFK is the most famous Kennedy right now. I know, right? Right. And one of the reasons he's so popular. Alan W., there's also systemic racism within the medical industry that needs to be addressed. Yeah, absolutely. So, folks, there have been studies that done. So if, for example, if let's say you have a white woman and a black woman that go to a doctor, there are correlations. So doctors and nurses are more likely to underestimate the pain that a black woman is feeling than they are a white woman. So they're more willing to think that a black woman telling them how much pain they're in is exaggerating than they are a white woman. There are other issues too with this, but there are also some racial disparities in medical treatment that need to be addressed. Also, when it comes to childbirth, maternal mortality rates are much higher for non-white women than they are for white women. There is also a racial component here that needs to be addressed that we're nowhere near addressing. Okay. Welcome, Winterlinde. Welcome back once again, Winterlinde. We are ranting about the healthcare system because pet peeve of mine. Okay, let me go back to this. Okay.
Avoid like this happening.
Right, so I'm looking at an American medical bill.
Why is it so expensive?
$428,000 for rooms and such empty spaces. What?
Much cheaper to go Hilton Hotel than this one.
Yeah. Much cheaper to get a plane ticket and go to another country to get treatment. Jesus Christ.
Skin to skin after C-section is $39.
I had to pay $39.
Gabrielle. So Gabrielle says, if I'm being honest, as much as there will be free healthcare provided to the states, I don't know if there are enough facilities that can provide it. So Gabrielle, we can fix that, right? If we do control more of the system, we can make more healthcare facilities if we want to. Yeah. And by the way, right now, there are not enough, at the moment, there aren't enough facilities, especially mental health facilities. There are not nearly enough facilities for people with psychiatric issues. There are not enough facilities in a lot of different ways already. But that is a fair point, though. Yeah, that's a very fair point, Gabriel.
And 35 cents to hold my baby after he was born. You need to pay money to hold a baby?
Yep, look here, folks. 66% of bankruptcies in the United States are caused by medical debt.
My brother Jamie, who's in a lot of our videos, was pretty badly injured. He's going to lose a couple fingers. If you can give $1 or if you can give $5, every little bit will help him and his family.
Also, folks, I am sick of in America how there's all these people will have to go on to GoFundMe to like fund things like, oh, I need cancer treatment. Oh, and then so a lot of times like local news channels will be like, oh, look at this cute little story. This kid is trying to raise money for getting cancer treatment. Isn't this adorable? No, it's terrifying. It is terrifying and deeply immoral that people have to go to GoFundMe to pay for essential health care that will keep them alive.
That's heartbreaking.
Goodbye, Mithril.
GoFundMe should not be something that people have to resort to pay for their medical bills.
Yeah, Lynn, it is deeply dystopian. Yep. And
so in America, people spend more than twice as much as in Japan for healthcare.
You know, if I paid twice the amount for a car, I would want the car to be twice as good.
So what's the life expectancy in the U.S.?
Why is it less?
The U.S. should be on top of both of those.
Yep. And it's going down. It is going down. Weirdly enough, it is going down specifically for men in the United States because of an addiction of overdose deaths, health concerns for men. Men in the United States, their life expectancies are dropping. I'm pretty sure also for women. I'd have to double check that. But our life expectancies are going down. Look at this list here, okay? We're spending more on healthcare. We're spending $11,000 whatever on healthcare per year, and we have the lowest life expectancy of all these industrialized wealthy countries.
Like, if you're charging your citizens that much money, then they better be living the longest lives. It doesn't make sense.
When Alec turned 26, he was no longer allowed on his mother's insurance plan. Instead, he decided to pay for his insulin over the counter at list price. But the pharmacist told him a month's supply would be $1,300. He left empty-handed. Alec's official cause of death was diabetic ketoacidosis.
A couple of years ago, I developed a heart condition.
Yeah, see, I've almost cried on screen multiple times hearing crap like this.
And I had to have my heart restarted 3 times. After the 3rd time I had it restarted, the doctor suggested I get heart surgery.
When I was 13, I started to get sick and really, really sick. I was then very quickly admitted into hospital, where after 3 weeks, I had treatment for a brain virus.
The cost of the operation, I think, is about $60,000. And then the next day, when I left the hospital and I got my bill, it was a bill for parking. It was about $30.
And was treated by royal doctors, had several MRIs, lumbar punctures, all for free.
So I was pretty happy that I lived in Canada and had universal health care.
I couldn't have survived if I was in America.
So he only had to pay $30 for brain surgery. I mean, like to an American, that's like, oh my God, really? Geez, that's a bargain. Like
America.
To know that I can get sick, I can get injured, but I will still be taken care of.
Yes,
that is freedom.
That is freedom. And the narrative that government-run healthcare or people-run healthcare is somehow oppressive is nonsense. You have more freedom if you don't have to worry about that nonsense. Okay. Macy Schroeder, when the patient is forced to be their own healthcare, and they get to thinking about most efficient course of action, and that can lead to other do-it-yourself methods. Yeah. Yes, it can, Macy. It also allows a lot of grifters and people selling basically snake oil salesmen, like, oh, do this for your health. If anyone's ever heard of colloidal silver, there was a movement, like a natural, like not natural medicine, natural medicine thing where there were grifters trying to sell colloidal silver to treat certain medical conditions. But if you consume a lot of colloidal silver, you know what happens? You turn blue and it kills you. So it opens the door for a lot of scams and things like that. It makes people do things to try and treat themselves that are unhealthy and make the health situation worse. Oh. Yeah, lobotomy probably would cost more than $30. I pay more than I pay more than $30 for a cold. Yeah, I'm sure you do, Alyssa. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, Malzard. Yeah, I'm good. Ivermectin for me. Make America healthy, right? Oh my God. Yeah. Okay. That was a good one. Thank you for sharing that, Henry G. That is again, dystopian nightmare that we're living in here. Okay, let's see. Let me find something else here on Discord again, folks. Yeah, now people are willing doing whatever some person on the internet is saying, for sure. Okay, folks, if we get 3 more super chats, I'll put on the Jester hat. Would greatly appreciate your support. Also, if you're watching the stream and you want to make a comment, please subscribe to my channel, and then in about 5 minutes you'll be able to make a comment. Also, if you want to help support my channel and join to become a member, you can. If you become a member, you'll get a cute little Jester hat next to your name, and you can also use any number of these little cute emojis that I'm now going to put into the chat. Woo, look at these cute little emojis. Oh, adorable little emojis. Okay, there we go. And for as little as 99 cents a month, you can support the channel. So thank you very much. Alan W., you resent the video. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I skip one, Alan? I'll go back. I'll check it. Okay. All right, guys. So let me see what else we have here. Okay. Also, by the way, you can also support me on Patreon for as little as $5 a month. Okay. I forgot to add that one. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let me go back to Discord here. Druzilla's here. Hello, Druzilla. All right. Oh, here's a good one. Yeah, they do. Oh, that's a good one. Okay. I'm going to do this one that Alan sent here. This looks good because, yeah, immigrants pay a lot of taxes. They help prop up our system. Let me do this. Okay. Let me unmute it. Or, you know what, I'll transfer it over to here so that we can see that. Okay. All right. So this is just a short, folks. This is someone trying to explain to a MAGA person, that undocumented immigrants pay taxes, because they do. They pay a lot of taxes and then don't get many benefits from it. Let me see what we got here. All right. Okay, so let's watch this really fast.
How much do you think undocumented immigrants pay into the tax system every year? Zero?
Nothing.
Yeah, I'm sure they think that. I'm going to turn it up, but I'm having trouble hearing it. Let me do that real fast. Oh, it looks like it's as high as it can go. Okay, well, hopefully everyone can hear this. Oh, thank you, Alan. Is that in the recommendations? Because that is the one. I was actually looking for that one earlier because I thought that was great. Okay. Yeah, Alyssa, a lot of times it feels like they are an impenetrable wall. But that's what happens under fascism. A lot of people, they stop caring about reality. They get this cult mentality where they really only believe what the dear leader says.
Nothing.
Probably nothing. Undocumented, I would guess zero. And why would they pay anything?
My guess is nothing.
Since they're undocumented, $0. $100.
$100. 2022, they paid $96 billion into Social Security and Medicare, just undocumented.
I really don't know what to say about it.
2022, they paid $96 billion into the Social Security Medicare system.
Seems
gotcha, Alan.
ludicrous. that there would be that
Right,
kind of money coming in.
You are 100% right. Given everything we've heard, it sounds absurd. It sounds insane. Just like an alternate reality, right? It runs counter to the entire narrative
that's clever.
that we've been getting the past several years.
Yeah.
The undocumented immigrants, they paid into the system. They pay it into the system.
Oh my God, look at that guy.
So through ITN number.
It's undocumented immigrants?
Undocumented immigrants. They pay Medicare, they pay Social Security. They don't get Social Security.
Right, but they pay into it. I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah.
And now $10 says that, well, $50 says that none of these people will change their mind anyway, because again, under fascism, a lot of the times there's this sense of die Welt ist meine Vorstellung, which Winterlinde might be able to correct me on how I pronounce that. The idea that the world is just however I view it to be. It doesn't really matter what reality is.
I wasn't aware of that.
Okay, yeah, that was good. That was really good. Okay, there's another one I wanted to watch that Alan recommended. Where's that money going to? Right, it's going into Social Security. It's going into Medicaid. Yeah, right, Alyssa? Okay, let me find it. Oh, is it the Chris Hedges one? Yep, there it is. Okay, we'll do that. Okay, and then I want to watch the one by Miro. So first we'll do the one by Alan here. This is the one. I love Chris Hedges. Let's open up this one real fast.
Capitalism could not be less.
So this is another short here. It is called Capitalism's Culture of Fear. Let's see here what they have to say.
Less interested in ordinary people. Capitalism could not be less interested in ordinary people.
The other thing it does is inculcate within the society a culture of fear. So you have the internal and the external enemy, even if that enemy is a phantom, the way we've demonized hardworking immigrants who make $14,000 a year and work 10, 12.
So a lot of times under a capitalist system, right, the conflict between different classes, so working class, bourgeois, or the owning class, right, what ends up happening is in order to preserve that system and prevent this kind of conflict, you get things like scapegoating, right? In Nazi Germany, it was, all these problems you're seeing around you that are being caused by capitalism is really just the fault of the Jews. In America, it's the fault of immigrants. It's the fault of Muslims. It's the fault of women, okay? It's scapegoating where you place the blame for things. And instead of looking up and blaming, by looking up and seeing who's actually doing things to you, you start looking sideways and blaming the people around you, weak minority, not very strong minority groups and things like that as a distraction.
12 hours a day, that has become a mechanism by which they will create this police state, which will affect all of us the same way they have weaponized anti-Semitism as a way to shut down free speech. These are all tropes. These are all mechanisms. The idea that Trump cares about anti-Semitism is patently absurd. But it's about profit, but it's also about fear.
Yeah, well, it's the exercise of control. You need to create an atmosphere of fear in the people. Though all those brilliantly brave, wonderful people who take to the streets, every Saturday they do it, and they certainly have done since October the 7th, 2023. And so there is hope. There is hope in my heart because I see all these wonderful people continuing to resist. And all I can do is cheer them on and go for it and try and increase the volume of the voices in the crowd so that our voice gets louder and louder. And is it a vain hope? No. When we organize, their only recourse is to shoot us down, to hire mercenaries to kill us. This is what Trump stands for, and that's what they're trying to do now. Capitalism.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, absolutely. It does create a culture of fear. You also need fear in a society to basically to justify state violence, to justify oppressive measures taken against the people and things like that. So yeah, okay. I agree. Welcome, RBP. Okay, we have to keep standing up to fascism. Yes, we do. We have to keep standing up to fascism. And if you think it won't affect you folks, it will eventually. Okay, it absolutely will. You can't wait till it directly affects you. It'll be too late, obviously, at that point. Of course, our RBP always willing to spread the message of another anti-fascist in chat. Okay. Jonas, you can always tell which of these guys are the big fans of the Daily Wire crew. Oh, yes, you can, Jonas. That is for sure. Okay. All right, folks, let me see what else we got here in Discord. Again, folks, if we get 3 more super chats, I will put on the Jester hat. Thank you for those who have already donated. Thank you very much. We only have 2 so far. Again, if we get to 5, I'll put on the Jester hat. Also, if you like what I'm doing here, you can click the join button and become a member for as little as 99 cents a month. Also, please join the Discord if you're interested. We have a great little community growing on there, great conversations. You can also you can also make recommendations for videos for me to react to in the recommendations channel, which is what I'm doing now. So just a side note for everyone. Again, super chats, membership, Patreon, and join the Discord. There we go. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Let's watch what. Let me watch here what Miro is. Miro here? Is Miro here in chat? You hear Miro? If you're not, I won't watch it unless you're here. I want you to be able to see me reacting to it. No, we haven't yet, Alyssa. There you go, Miro. Okay, we're gonna watch yours, Miro. Sorry, you may have been off doing something, Miro. I just wanted to double check. Alyssa, I missed a few streams and I haven't caught up. We haven't yet, Alyssa. We'll do that, okay? Either today or tomorrow or someday this week, because that's one that I really want to watch. So let's watch what Miro's thing is here. Oh, let's see here. Here we go. Okay, yeah, give me a second, folks. I'm going to go back to the face screen. I got to set up something real fast because I never signed into that. Give me a moment here, folks. All right. Here we go. I'm going to go back to face screen. Okay, give me a second. I'm just setting something up so I can watch this Miro recommendation here. Oh, crap. Okay, Miro, I'm sorry, but I have to set up an account for SoundCloud. I used to have one. I don't know why I can't access it now. So let me set it up. Maybe the next stream I'll do it. Okay, I apologize, Miro. It does look good, though, what your friend made here. But yes, I think we should free Luigi Mangione 100%. Okay, let me do a different, let me find a different one now. How much time we got? Okay, so what we'll do, let's watch the Aesthetics of Fascism thing, because, well, let's see how long it is real fast. Tariffs backfire on Trump. Who's that? Is this person here? Who's this? This is. Oh, goodness. Macy, that looks like a good one. How long is this one? Oh, 2 hours? Okay, I'll wait for that one. Okay. Oh, this is Midas Touch. Okay, you know what? Let's do this one, actually. I'm going to do one of Macy's suggestions real fast, folks. Okay. Let's do this one. I like the look of this one. Then we'll do Aesthetics of Fascism, because I think it's like 45 minutes long, a bit later, or maybe tomorrow. Okay. What do we got here? All right. I lost my chat. There it is. Okay. Let me pull this up now. Okay. Thank you, Macy. Thank you. I'll watch the Aesthetics of Fascism one at some point here. Okay, let me make sure I get this going. Sorry if I could take me a moment here. All right. Okay, so this is from Midas Touch. Okay, Dark Secrets of GOP surface as Trump cover-up backfires. I'm going to put it a little bit faster here. We will put the speed back here on 105. Okay, 1.5. Here we go.
Would compare life under Republicans' control to life in the actual Handmaid's Tale. Like, I literally couldn't finish the series because I'm like, this is too much like our reality. And he's like, calm down, step down. After you watch this video, please, I'm asking if you wouldn't mind commenting in the comment section below what your thoughts are. Do you agree with his opinion or do you agree with mine? My name is Suri Crow and you're watching the Midas Touch Network. Because my position is that if we allow the Republican Party, aka MAGA, they are now one and the same. MAGA has eaten up the Republican Party, so That's what they are. If we allow them to remain in power, it is only a matter of time before we women lose all of our rights. We know they've already gone after us.
Well, we're already almost there. It seems like those who saw that pastor, that Christian nationalist pastor, that was basically screaming about how women need to be subservient to their husbands and shit like that. And has a lot of influence in government. I would not be surprised. Okay.
In rolling back or Roe v. Wade, and they are now coming for our right to vote. Mark me, they are going for the 19th Amendment.
Christchurch senior pastor Doug Wilson makes no apologies for his beliefs on God and country. And now Wilson's controversial views as a Christian nationalist are gaining sway in the nation's center of power with the recent opening of his new church and high-profile parishioners like Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth.
Is planting a church in D.C. part of your mission to try to turn this into...
It's this guy again. Oh my God. Okay. God help me. Okay.
A Christian nation?
Yes. A big focus of his Christian movement is on a patriarchal society where men are dominant and women are expected to submit to their husbands.
Women are the kind of people that people come out of.
So you just think they're meant to have babies? That's it. They're just a vessel.
No, it doesn't take any talent to simply reproduce biologically. The wife and mother, who is the chief executive of the home, is entrusted with 3 or 4 or 5 eternal souls.
I'm here as a working journalist, and I'm a mom of 3.
Good for you.
Is that an issue
No,
for you?
no, it's not automatically an issue.
Yeah.
Josh and Amy Prenz, along with their 4 kids, moved here from Washington State.
Do you see Amy as your equal?
Yes and no. In the sense that we're both saved by grace. We're absolutely on equal footing.
Again, folks,
but we have very...
Again, easy answer there. Yes. Yes, she is my equal. Easy answer.
Different purposes, God-given.
But do you see yourself as the head of the household, as the man?
He is the head of our household. Yes, and I do submit to him.
Wilson says in his vision of a Christian society, women as individuals shouldn't be able to vote. His fellow pastors, Jared Longshore and Toby Sumter, agree.
In my ideal society, we would vote as households. And I would ordinarily be the one that would cast the vote, but I would cast the vote having discussed it with my household.
But what if there's your wife doesn't want to vote for the same person as you?
Right. Well, then that's a great opportunity for a good discussion.
For those who are watching, I've reacted. So this is only part. This is only a part of the larger video. I've already reacted to this clip that they're showing here. So if I'm not saying anything, trust me, I am appalled and horrified. But you can actually go and watch on YouTube. I actually just posted a video of me reacting to this lunatic, Doug Wilson. You can watch that. But I'm not going to say much during this clip because I have already reacted to it. But just know I'm horrified and disgusted just as much as you are.
There are some who have gone so far as to say that they want the 19th Amendment repealed.
I would support that. And I'd support it on the basis that the atomization that comes with our current system is not good for humans.
Pete Hegseth, by the way, our esteemed Secretary of Defense, retweeted that whole story on his X timeline. Hegseth, who has already purged the Department of Defense and the Pentagon of many women in command, who has stated on several occasions that he doesn't really believe women belong outside of the kitchen, barefoot and pregnant, or belong in the military, or serving in command roles. And that pastor whom he looks up to, Doug Wilson, lean in. This is what Doug Wilson, a Navy veteran, said about women serving amongst men in at least some military roles. I think we ought to find out the name of the person who...
I'm just going to read Wilson, a Navy veteran. Okay. I think we have to find out the name of the person who suggested that we put women on these submarines and have that man committed. Again, folks, as I said before, this is also bad for men, right? There are millions upon millions of men who are rational, good human beings, and they are being targeted because of their desire, because they view women as human beings. Wilson said it's like having a playpen that you put 50 cats. Oh, this is gross. It's like having a playpen that you put 50 cats in and then drop catnip in the middle of it. Whatever happens is going to be ugly. And if you think it's going to advance the cause of women and make sailors start treating women less like objects, then you haven't been around the block many times. Why are we blaming the women for that? Maybe you should make sure your sailors aren't planning to do something like that to a woman instead of saying, well, we shouldn't have a woman there. Okay, this...
suggested that we put women on those submarines and have that man committed, Wilson said. It's like having a playpen that you put 50 cats in and then drop catnip in the middle of it. Whatever happens is going to be ugly. And if you think it's going to advance the cause of women and make sailors start treating women less like objects, then you haven't been around the block very many times.
That's the problem of the sailors, not the
I
woman.
literally can feel my blood boil as I read that statement. Yeah. That's his take, and that's the position with MAGA, that it's women's fault that men can't keep their dick in their pants. It's our fault if we are sexually assaulted, because women, we're like catnip to men. Men can't be trusted to control their carnal urges. It's the women's fault.
And okay, for the women in chat, you know this, right? The constant victim blaming, being like, oh, well, she shouldn't have dressed that way. Oh, you were leading him on. Oh, like classic blaming the victim for the behavior of men. And we don't even know if those men would do that. So he's also assuming that for some reason, all these sailors must just be utterly animals that can't control themselves.
I mean, this is so appalling and gross, but it's not shocking. I grew up in that evangelical sort of white nationalist culture,
right?
And this is the
right. RBP, yeah, okay. Even though I'm a gay man, right? My father, my mother always taught me, like, you respect women. You do not put a hand on them. Okay. You obviously, right? Obviously that's sort of a basic thing that we do that one should do to live in a society. Okay. I mean, obviously.
Mantra that women are taught, not only in these creepy church cultures, but societally. Well, what were you wearing? How much did you have to drink?
Right,
it's always blaming the women. So it's no wonder that people like Pete Hegseth, who is a credibly accused sexual predator, is a fan of his. Remember that Hegseth paid off a woman who accused him of rape. Remember that. And of course, he was still confirmed by the supplicant MAGA Republicans in the Senate to be Secretary of Defense. No wonder these men voted for Trump. A man found liable for sexual assault in the...
Are we all shocked here? Like the Trump administration is full of people who have been accused of sexual assault, like full of them. It's almost a club for sexual. That's what we should do now. We should just, anyone accused of a sexual assault should just be immediately appointed to the Trump administration.
E. Jean Carroll case. No wonder. Of course they're on board with these people. Oh, and it gets so much worse with this pastor dude, Doug Wilson. In 2005, Wilson vouched for a convicted serial pedophile. Yep. In his home church in Moscow, Idaho.
Of course he did. Again, the government, the people in power, just for some reason chock full of people who sexually assault women, who abuse children. It really makes me, I hate to say this, but we all remember the QAnon crap. Okay, makes you really understand why a lot of those folks felt the way they did, because it certainly does seem like there is almost like a cabal of these lunatics running the government, because there kind of is.
And he asked the judge for leniency in sentencing him. Sure thing. Wilson wrote a letter to the judge and claimed that he'd been counseling a man by the name of Stephen Sittler, who had been convicted of pedophilia. And this is what Pastor Wilson wrote to the judge. He said, I am grateful Stephen was caught, and I'm grateful he has been brought to account for these actions so early in his life. At the same time, I would urge that the civil penalties applied would be measured and limited. I have good hope that Steve has genuinely repented and that he will continue to deal with this to become a productive and contributing member of society. Now, after Stephen...
Okay, this is sort of a selfish thing I'm going to say here. Not really, but imagine if that had been like a gay man or a trans person that had done that, and he had been them had been under the care of Doug Wilson. Do we think he would have vouched for that person? Do we think it would have been like, oh, I think this person, I vouch for them. They're trying to do good. Of course not. Of course not. Right?
Hitler was released from jail for time served with the condition of a lifetime on parole. Years later, Doug Wilson, once again the lead pastor of this church, vouches for Sittler, a convicted pedophile. He vouches for him to court and marry a young lady within their church community. I kid you not, because in this patriarchal church culture, these elder men choose whom should marry. And he suggests to this young lady that she ought to date and subsequently marry Stephen Sittler, the convicted pedophile. Not only that, Doug Wilson officiated at their wedding.
Disgusting. A lot of these folks believe that marriage is like a civilizing act. It'll make a man or a woman it'll sort of domesticate them and calm them down. That's not how that works, folks. Jonas, I worked with a guy like this, did a sales training session, likening making a deal to getting a woman to come home with you at a club. Also said during lunch that women are naturally lazy. Oh, Jonas. Horrific. I don't know about you, Eunice, but as a man, I think you're a man, Eunice. I'm sorry if you're not. Sometimes other men, especially men who don't know I'm gay, for example, will say things to me in private that are horrifically misogynistic, and they assume because I'm a fellow man for some reason that they can just say those things and that it doesn't bother me or that I'll support it. Yeah. Okay.
Convicted flipping pedophile. Oh, and surprise, surprise, when the couple eventually had a baby, they had a son. Guess what? Police discovered that Sittler had some kind of sexual encounter with his own infant son and obviously violated the terms of his parole. I could not find in any of the court documents. It was never stated exactly what happened, but he claimed under a polygraph that he had been sexually stimulated by his own.
Well, that was a predictable outcome, wasn't it? After having this pedophile, making this pedophile get married to this woman. Oh yeah, what a shock! He ended up assaulting his own child. Okay, yeah, of course.
Baby son. If you're throwing up in your mouth, I don't blame you. It is horrifying that this man had a track record of abusing children sexually and then is encouraged to marry a woman, have a child, and then repeats this with his own son. And all of this happened because in these patriarchal circles, pastors like Doug Wilson protect the predators and the pedophiles instead of the women and the children.
It's the same thing in the Catholic Church. I mean, a lot of these hierarchical, especially patriarchal structures in churches and stuff kind of make way and allow for these things to happen based off their structure. Like the Catholic Church did the same thing. They allowed all these disgusting priests to get away with molestation and things like that.
Children. Doug Wilson encouraged her to marry this monster. And she is supposed to, by the church culture, submit to her husband, to obey her husband. And by the way, I just want to clarify, that is not what the Bible preaches. That is some serious bullshit. I was brainwashed into that my whole.
Now, okay, I do slightly disagree with her. I know I'm nitpicking here, but there are parts of the Bible I do agree with that. I just got to be honest with you, okay? Especially the Old Testament does, in fact, basically make out women to be property. But okay, I get her point. She's saying that the spirit of the Bible does not.
Life, I never really bought it, but if you do deep biblical studies through translations, that's not what the original Greek and Hebrew translations say at all. That's not what Jesus was about, just FYI. But sadly, this kind of crap happens all of the time. Excellent Reporters exposed the Southern Baptist Convention for its massive, years-long cover-up of why.
Also, this is actually another interesting point. So I mentioned the Catholic Church. In the United States, historically, Catholics have often been mistreated because, we were mainly founded as a Protestant nation, as in it was mainly Protestants who came over here. So a lot of times Catholics have been mistrusted and demonized and stuff. So I do find it interesting because, yes, the Catholic Church created massive crimes. But there are also, because I've read about this before, the Baptist Church has also committed massive crimes, tons of people engaging in sexual abuse, but that never really blew up into a big national story, probably because Catholics are more easy to demonize just because of the history of anti-Catholicism in the United States. But this happens in lots of churches, okay? Like it even says here, 700 victims. The Southern Baptist sexual abuse spreads as leaders resist reforms. So this is not just limited to the Catholic Church, but oftentimes it's only the Catholic Church that gets talked about.
Widespread sexual abuse within that church. Once again, predators and pedos protected. And just recently, a GOP Utah State Senate president by the name of Stuart Adams rewrote child rape laws in that state in order to protect his 18-year-old relative who had been charged with felony rape and sodomy of a 13-year-old girl.
Jesus
But
Christ.
thanks to that 18-year-old's relation to Senator Adams, those first-degree felony charges where he was facing potentially years in prison were dropped down.
Yeah, and these are the the pro law and order people, right? The ones that are always like, we need more law and order. We need more law and order. Trans people are pedophiles or whatever. Like all that nonsense they're always spewing. But then, of course, when push comes to shove, they are, of course, going to excuse those people if it's someone they know. Okay, I mean, they're always fear mongering about gay people, trans people. They're always anyway.
On to third-degree felonies, no additional jail time, and this 18-year-old male, he would not have to register as a sex offender. This new law stating that as long as the 18-year-old is in high school, they will now qualify for the lesser charge under this new law. This is what the Republicans, they're literally bending the law to protect predators and pedophiles. And let me be clear here. We know that teenagers are having sex. This was not that. This 13-year-old child, this little girl, was violently assaulted, according to the case depositions. And the child's family is reportedly devastated by the fact that this 18-year-old basically got away with just nary a slap on the hand after violently assaulting this child. I mean, that's what happened here, all because
like, folks, okay, I'm not a big fan of capital punishment, but things like this make me kind of feel like I wouldn't mind too much of some of these folks were to I'm not going to say it, but I mean, okay.
Republicans once again protecting the criminals. That's the bottom line. And, again, it goes back to the basic fact that Republicans do not care about women. They do not care about children. They certainly don't care about little girls or little boys or rape victims. And according to recent Rolling Stone reporting, their dear leader, Donald Trump, considers himself that he is actually the true victim in the Epstein pedophile crimes.
Tonight, we have new reporting from Rolling Stone on how Donald Trump views the women who have come forward. Trump has said that some of these people speaking out are, in his words, clear.
Right. Jonas just said this. Jonas actually just Jonas almost predicted this. Okay. Jonas said the problem with speaking out is how often the worst examples of men are also senior leaders. 100% makes speaking up very scary. Hence why I decided to leave. Good for you, Jonas. And Jonas made that point. And look, this is what Donald Trump is doing. He's the one in power, and he is a sexual predator. And so, of course, how are people in his administration going to do this? Okay. Macy Schroeder, Kimberly Gian, castration. I'm just saying, folks, like, I'm starting to lose my patience, obviously, with this. Okay. Macy Schroeder, I think a lot about what an Italian classmate told me happens to people who did that in Italy. I'm going to look that up, Macy. I'd like to know what they do to people like that in Italy.
Of a Democrat political affiliation, and has repeatedly critiqued the string of media appearances.
Fox Emblem, this stuff vindicates my anti-theism. I got to tell you, Fox Emblem, I feel the same way.
By Epstein accusers and their families, arguing that some of them are just trying to make him look bad. Swin Soobsang is one of the reporters who broke that story. He is a senior political reporter at Rolling Stone, and he joins me now. Good to see you. Thanks for being here on set tonight.
Thank you for having me.
It sort of sounds from your reporting like Donald Trump sees himself as the victim here and not all the survivors who were personally impacted by Epstein.
Absolutely. And that is par for the course for this president. Whatever is going on the political or personal landscape, he always values casting himself as the victim, as the besieged one, even as...
Yeah, of course, because he's a whiny little baby. And he can't take any critique, and yet he always presents himself as this macho man. I'm a macho man, okay. And yet he's a little
situation as black and white as this, when it's pretty clear who the survivors are and who the victims and alleged victims and the accusers are for something especially so heinous as what we've come to know with regards to the Jeffrey Epstein saga. And one of the things that got us onto reporting this out is that public-facing, Trump is often very garrulous in how he insults his enemies, big and small, who come after him, or who, if he feels like they're coming after him, especially when he's sitting as leader.
Yeah, because he's a precious little snowflake, and he can't have anyone criticizing him.
Of the free world. There is no low level to punch down that is too low for him. But for some reason, he was conspicuously silent about these families and these individual accusers. So we set out to figure out, okay, with our sources in and out of the administration, what is he saying privately? It's not a positive one. He is getting really, really annoyed in recent weeks with these individuals, accusing them of being essentially Democratic operatives.
It is just so bloody damn exhausting to hear this man and the whole Republican Party constantly whine and victim blame and shame. It is gross. They, the MAGA cult, the Fox, the Newsmax right-wing cult, the right-wing broadcasting system, the podcasters, they who have been fixated, all we have heard from them for freaking a decade now is human trafficking, pedos, blaming, everyone from Joe Biden to the Obamas to Tom Hanks.
I'm sorry. Okay, I got to tell you, I'm starting to believe MAGA. Okay, I mean, I know I'm crazy. I'm not obviously believing MAGA. My point here is, yeah, it certainly seems like there are pedophiles everywhere in the government. I mean, look at the Epstein files. Look at Trump. Look at everything we've seen. It's like it's all. Obviously QAnon, insane conspiracy theory. But like, what are we doing? What are we? Okay. Okay. But of course, MAGA won't ever address what Trump is doing or what any of these Republicans or right wingers are doing. Of course not. Of course not. Of course not. He's very fragile. That's right, Drusilla. Trump is very emotionally fragile. What did he say, Macy? He said, oh, y'all remember when Trump thoughtfully said 12 is too young for a sexual partner? That's. I'm glad. I'm glad he. Yeah. Okay. Wow. State the obvious, huh, Trump? Okay. Though he, of course, yeah. I wonder if he thought 13 was okay, though. Okay. Hamina, how nice of Trump to not go for 11-year-olds, right? Exactly my point, right, Hamina? Right? Yeah, okay, he could have chosen a bit of a higher number, I'm thinking, okay, if he actually thought that children shouldn't be victims of sexual crimes. Jonas, Trump is forever a victim or a hero. Yep, he is. That is classic fascist way of thinking. I am always a victim. I am always a hero at the same time. Right, Hamina? Oh, Jesus.
It's just mind-bending to me that that's all we have heard them vomit out of their mouths for years. But when it comes right down to it, they doth protest too much. Every accusation is a confession. I do not have time in this story to post all of the mugshots that I have collected in a special file of GOP pedos. Here's just a gallery of a few of rabid Trumpers who are so, quote, anti-pedo. So, oh my God, we're standing up against human trafficking. These were actually arrested for sex crimes against children.
I'm telling you, folks, I told you this multiple times in the gay community, if there's a really a man who is extremely homophobic and is always going after gay people, you almost always end up finding out he's gay also. I mean, it's like telling on yourself. And these people constantly screaming about what all this shit, or a lot of them are pedos. I mean, proof positive.
Well, these are people who are, to some degree high up in the Republican Party. From these folks, from the superintendent in Oklahoma who was busted for playing porn on his computer during a board meeting, a school board meeting, all the way to the top of the heap, to the man in the White House. So once again, it's do not listen to what they say. Look at what they've done, which is absolutely nothing to protect women, children, and victims of sex crimes. Mike Johnson, for God's sakes, shut Congress down for the summer to protect Donald Trump from any exposure in the Epstein files. We are living under a Republican regime. GOP stands for Guardians of Pedos and Predators.
I love
and we should be repeating that all the time because, repetition hits. Donald Trump certainly has mastered that. We need to be saying that all the time. And the fact that they are working to remove what's left of women's voices at the voting booth should be crystal clear to us that they are setting up a culture where predominantly white men have all the power to abuse women and children at their leisure and at their pleasure. And it is revolting to me. I got to tell you, while I was researching this story, my blood pressure was just boiling because I am so sick of their shit. I am so sick of their lies and their crimes. So hopefully this will motivate you and fire you up that if you've been sitting on the sidelines, that you will get in the fight. GOP, Guardians of Pedos and Predators. Say it with me, folks. All right. That's all I've got for now. I will see you back here soon. And as always, wishing you peace, love, and take care.
Love this video. Okay. God, I don't know how much more of this stuff I can take. I mean, I'm enjoying watching. I'm just saying, I am going to lose my mind. Let me see here. Jonas Hassan, I watched Trump praise himself for his actions in Gaza. Oh, of course he did. Yeah, I'm sure he loves how his unconditional support for Benjamin Netanyahu and the massive genocide he's committing and the slaughter of children and women and all the innocent civilians being genocided right now. I'm sure he did praise himself for that. I think he Henry G. Did I miss your last comment? I'll take a look. I'll go back and look, Henry G. I watched Trump praise himself for his actions in Gaza. I think he complimented himself 4 times in a single minute. Yeah, that classic Trump. What I'm doing in Gaza, it's so great. They say it's the greatest I've ever done. No one's ever done anything greater than this. No one's ever seen the president is great dealing with Gaza. Yeah, okay. Meanwhile, children being burned alive. It's really, really disgusting. Horrific. Oh, of course, Alan. Of course they did. Of course, Israel bombed another hospital this morning. It's like an average Monday morning for them. Bomb a hospital, bomb a school. Hamas is using the hospital as a human shield or whatever other bullshit they come up with, and then a lot of the mainstream media will just fall in line right behind that and be like, "Yeah, of course they bombed this hospital." Like I can't take it. It is just okay. Okay, Henry G. Let me see what your last comment was. Henry G, I don't see your last comment. Forgive me. Would you resend it? I don't see it. I'm sorry, Henry G. Okay. Yeah. It's reprehensible. Okay, folks. I think we're going to stop there for now. I've been going for almost 3 hours now. So let me go put my face on here. Okay. Okay. We need to do something. This is insane. We need to, first of all, we need to free Palestine. That I didn't talk about that enough today. I need to maybe mention it every day because we're in the midst of an act of genocide where people are being slaughtered. And our government is complicit 100%, and our tax dollars are going to fund that slaughter. So I just wanted to throw that out there. I know we were talking about the horrors of sexual abuse and things. Awful, horror, also horror. We are surrounded by horrors. What can I say? Every day is a new horror. It's like waking up in a horror movie every single goddamn day. Okay. All right. Let me see. Did you? Let me see, Henry G. Okay. Yeah, I know, right, Hamina? Definitely the least macho administration in the history of administrations. That's always screaming that they're the most macho, even though they can't handle any sort of criticism. They have, anyway, there are healthy forms of masculinity, folks. There are very healthy forms of masculinity. And it is a shame because there are many men who do exhibit very healthy forms of masculinity. But then the men like Donald Trump, the men like these, give all men a bad name. For the men in chat, we need to do something about that because most of us are good people. Most of us have a good sense of our masculinity. We're not little babies like Donald Trump is who can't take criticism. We understand that we can make mistakes. Okay. As a person of color, I've seen too many innocent people of color convicted. Yeah, that is fair. What are you referring to, Henry G? Forgive me. Are you referring to like my comment on what is it? Sorry, my comment on I'm sorry, I think of mind blank now. Oh, capital punishment, because I agree with you. My overall view on capital punishment, it's bad because there's some large percentage of people who are executed end up being innocent, and they are disproportionately black and brown people. So I know I made a comment about that. I don't actually believe in capital punishment, if that's what you're referring to, Henry G. So yeah, okay. Grace Abrams, the best solution for no, Grace Abrams, I'm going to say flat out no here. This is Israel's fault. Why do the countries around Israel have to be the ones who do something because of the genocide that Israel is implementing? I don't believe that at all. I don't believe that at all. Why, if that's the case, Grace, why doesn't the America take the Palestinians? I mean, we could say any country should take the Palestinians. Just because Arabs are the same ethnic group does not mean they have the same national identity. Okay, Egyptians are different than Palestinians. It doesn't matter, Grace Abrams. It doesn't matter that Egypt used to control the Gaza Strip. The British used to control the Gaza Strip. They should why don't they send the Palestinians to Britain then? That doesn't make it. I think it's a fallacious argument, Grace. It frustrates me when I hear that argument. Okay. It seems to be like another attempt to not put the blame on the Israeli government, which is committing the genocide and who are responsible for not slaughtering the people of Gaza. Forgive me. I'm very frustrated right now. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's see here. Is Henry G? Would you confirm? I think that's what you're talking about. There are too many people of color are absolutely convicted, and too many people of color are executed, and many of them are people who are. But the drag queens, guys, yeah, right, Hamina. Oh my God, Yeah, that all okay. I just No, Grace Abrams, that is absolutely wrong, and I recommend you read more about the history of the situation. Yeah, you're right. Egypt used to control it. That does not mean that. Why does Egypt need to be forced to take control of the Gaza Strip or take control or hold on to the Palestinians? They are not the same nationality. It is a generalization bordering on racism to assume that all Arabs can live in any Arab country because these countries are different. They have different national histories, different national identities. Britain used to own the Gaza Strip. The Ottoman Empire used to own the Gaza Strip. So would you, okay, let me ask you this, Grace Abrams. Do you think then, would you also make that same argument that the people of Gaza should, because the Ottoman Turks used to own it, do you think they should be sent to Turkey? Do you think they should be sent to Britain? Or is it only Egypt? And then if it is only Egypt, why? Why? Please really await your response there, Grace. Love debating with you. Okay. Okay. Nope. Ron. Okay. Ron, Grace. Ron. I'm sorry. You need to read more about this. It is racist to assume that Arabs are, because they come from the same ethnic group. Okay. So let me give you another example. Okay. Britain and America are both based on Anglo-Saxon. Okay. Obviously, folks, I'm generalizing. Anglo-Saxon language, English. Does that mean that we should that if the Britain were under some sort of occupation, that they should then move all the British people to the United States? Same ethnic background for white Americans does not mean they have the same national identity. Egyptians, even though they're Arab, does not mean that they are somehow all belief. Okay. They're not race, really. Egyptians and Palestinians are not Arabs. Because from what I know, Arabs migrated into Egypt. And if that's the case, Grace, let's say they're not Arabs, which they are, but let's say that they are not Arabs, then that makes it even less sense to push. Okay, well, fine, Grace. So let's take it your way then, okay? Let us say, forgive me, folks. I know I'm on a tangent here. So let's say this then, Grace. So let's say you're right. Let's say that Egyptians magically aren't Arab. Why would we why would Egypt want to take them there? And why aren't we talking about what Israel is doing that is making those people do that? Grace Abrams. I hate doing this, Grace. I went to graduate school for history. I feel I may know more about the Middle East than perhaps you do. Okay. So my point here is Egyptians. So again, either way your argument is made doesn't make sense. The language before Arabic was Coptic or Latin, depending on the time period. So, and then Arabs moved in there because there were Arab migrations and conquests. Yeah, but I don't know what your point is, Grace. Because if anything, that proves my point. Let's say there are some Coptic peoples there. There's and mixed ethnicities there. They have Arab culture but again, so if they are a separate culture, then why would we send the Palestinians in there? And if they are the same culture, it doesn't matter because they're different countries. Yeah, Palestine should be free. I mean, by the way, it does not matter. It does not matter. And you're right. You know what, Hamina, thank you. Thank you for saying that. I'm doing this too. I apologize. You are diluting their humanity by arguing all these categorizing terms for them. It doesn't really matter, the semantics. Yes, and this is what bothered me, and I apologize. I did get into that semantic argument here. In the end, it is Israel doing a genocide, and they need to be free. I don't care about all that arguments, and to put it off on saying it's the fault of the countries around the Palestine is a complete distraction to what is actually happening. Thank you, Hamina, for bringing me back to reality there. Okay. All right. Okay, folks. All right. Okay. Sorry. I'm calm. Thank you, Grace. Thank you for acknowledging that they need to be free and they need to stop being murdered en masse by a genocidal regime. Okay. All right. Okay, guys, you're right, Macy. Okay, so all right, I'm sorry, I'm calm now. You got a little worked up here. Let me do my. Thank you, Drusilla. Thank you. Okay, let me do my little end here. Okay. Um. Yeah. Okay. So let me do my little end here thing. No, it isn't, Grace. No, it isn't. The smallest country in the world. So Grace says the Gaza Strip is too small to be its own country. The smallest country in the world is Vatican City. It is tiny. It is much smaller than the Gaza Strip would be. Okay, it is just not true. It's just not true, Grace. There are much smaller countries than Gaza would be. They need their own country. I don't know how to say this more. Okay. Right. Okay. Okay. I'm sorry, folks. You can tell I'm very on edge. Okay. Let me go. Let's finish this up here, folks. Uh, okay. So guys, let me do my last little thing here. Uh, okay. All right. I will say one last thing here. Sorry, I just got to add one last thing here. You do know that Israel is occupying the majority of the West Bank and has put settlements in there. Okay. Tons of settlements pushing the Palestinians off their land. So are you okay then with Jordan taking the West Bank, by the way, without the permission of the Palestinians living there, and all those also Israeli settlers who are now part of Israel being sent there too? Or are you saying that you think it should basically be ethnically cleansed and only the Arabs living there? Because anyway, I'm sorry. Okay. All right, let's go. Yeah. All right, guys, you're right. You know this. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm getting into a semantic argument here, folks. Let me do my last little bit here. Okay. Thank you, everyone who sent super chats today. I am going to lose my mind, but okay. All right, guys. So, let me. Okay. Oh, I think you all know what's coming. I'm going to get off now, folks. I'm kind of hungry. Let me do my last little bit here. Okay. Oh, okay. You all know what's coming. Okay. First of all, and most importantly, for what is happening right now in the world. Okay. Free Palestine. Free Palestine. Stop the slaughter of innocent human beings. Stop the slaughter of innocent human beings. Let them have self-determination. They have earned it. They have earned self-determination. Okay. Free Palestine, number one. Number two, never stop resisting. Okay. Never stop resisting. The easiest way you can resist is to think for yourselves. The easiest way you can resist is to think for yourselves. Okay. That includes when you listen to me, I can get things wrong. I can make mistakes. Watch other content creators also. Don't get one perspective on these things. Always try to think for yourselves, okay? Secondly here, we are living in a fascist moment in this country, and many other countries around the world are experiencing a similar rise in the far right, okay? Fascism thrives in a society where people have lost faith in their government. They no longer trust democratic institutions, okay? Okay, they no longer feel that their needs are being met. The best way to fight fascism is to enact major reforms so that people trust democracy again, so they're getting their needs met and they don't turn to scapegoating and turn to the far right to save themselves. Okay. Lastly, on the wall behind me here. Okay. On the wall behind me here is a sword from the Civil War. It's called Chainbreaker. It is thought to have killed 7 slave owners. Okay. And why do I have this back here? Because we can never forget, and we should never forget, the sacrifices that our ancestors have made for the things we have today, not only here, but all around the world. Okay. All around the world. We cannot let their sacrifices go to waste. Please, people, we cannot let their sacrifices go to waste. And we have to keep fighting for a better future so all their sacrifice does not go to waste. Okay, folks? Meanwhile, all of you, have a good rest of your day, morning, night, noon, wherever you may be, okay? Have a lovely rest of your days. I will hopefully stream tomorrow. Maybe I'll stream later tonight too, okay? Have a good night, day. Bye-bye.